a chance to win $100. I guarantee about every student in your classroom is going to raise their hand because everyone's pretty excited about the idea of getting a chance to win $100. All you have to do is catch $1, and then you can win $100. And I guarantee any of you teachers out there are going to be pretty safe, and you're not going to have to worry about losing this $100 bill or not being able to buy groceries tonight. We'll show you how. Step 1, volunteer. Step 2, have volunteer put their forearm on the table so that their hand is off the side, their entire forearm is on the table. Step 3, hopefully you have students who actually know at all the reference of what a Kung Fu grip is, just like a G.I. Joe, where fingers are in claw formation. Step 3, have dollar bill. The trick of this, in order for a student to actually win the $100 bills, is they are going to need to catch the $1 bill so that their thumb is perfectly covering George Washington's nose, like such. And drop. Simple enough. Trust me when I say this, you're not going to have to worry about losing your $100 bill. The reason? Science. Once we throw a little bit of physics into this, a little bit of anatomy into this, you're not going to have to worry about losing that $100 bill. The bill itself, halfway across to that George Washington's nose, is about 7.5 centimeters. Once you throw that into a distance formula, it only takes about 0.124 seconds to actually drop past the point of being able to catch it. Going to the anatomy side of this, according to the National Institution of Health, the human brain responds to visual stimuli anywhere from 180 to 200 milliseconds. Audio stimuli is 140 to 160, so thank goodness they don't have to hear it dropping. When we actually calculate those two over, no, you don't have to worry about losing that $100 bill. You're welcome. What this actually turns into is a great opportunity for students to actually design an experiment on their own. We give them several opportunities. You think about how can you test this better? How can we figure this out? What we're going to do is show you one of the ways that my students in the past have come up with an experiment for testing this out. Let's see what we need. The beauty of this experiment is the fact that this is wide open to interpretation how they want to set this up. If we do this early on in the year, your students are going to be able to come up with all sorts of different ideas for how to test this. Once we get our materials together, let them start thinking about what's our dependent variable, what's our independent variable, what happens if we change too many variables at once. Great way to get students thinking into a scientific mind. While this is a really great thing for your students, they get a chance to play around with experiments a little bit, they get to come up with some different ideas on their own. They can start thinking about dependent, independent variables. That's all great for the sake of learning. However, let's think about something way more important. Yeah, the science makes sense that there's no way they should be able to do it because it's all going to be just a matter of chance whether they can hit or not. However, let's talk about a couple pro tips to make sure you never lose that $100 bill, even by accident. Let's go check. The very first pro tip, really important with this, is literally the way we set this up all together. For my assistant, setting his forearm across the table the way he does, this is really important, mostly because think about how you catch a baseball. You don't just hold your hand in one spot and then the ball comes to your hand. You move yourself for the sake of moving. Because he had to keep himself right here against, he's not able to move his hand up or down to make any sort of adjustments. He is 100% working off a reaction. The other component of this is the old Kung Fu grip. Think about it. You can't really reliably squeeze your hand that fast. So this is actually putting another little bit of a cramp on. And then at the end, say, I'm only giving one shot to one student to do this. I'm going to let you catch it with an actual $100 bill. And if you can put your thumb on Ben Franklin's nose, then you'll get that $100 bill. They'll get so excited, they'll figure out who, oh man, they'll practice that sucker 100 times, and they'll get to the point where they know exactly, got the timing down, everything, to catch that right on George Washington's nose. Then you get that one student, You come over with Ben Franklin, and zowie, you got them. Mostly because, thank heavens, they haven't redesigned the $1 bill because Ben Franklin is not centered, he's offset. So when you drop that, their entire timing is off, and you won't even have to worry about losing Ben. You can keep that in your pocket, so that way you can go ahead and go take care of buying groceries tonight. And that is a really great, fun, engaging way to get your students to start thinking about science outside of the box.